Hello and welcome! I am Zoran and I am bringing you, this is round 1 of the Reddit Dota 2 League Season 1 Playoff Tournament. So this tournament is a best of 3 as we move through the bracket. First up we have our teams, the Drunken Probe and Tupuck Shaker. We're waiting on that first ban. Now let me just adjust my audio, that is better. Not so blaringly loud for you, only my voice is the overpowering one. Starting off with the Bat Rider. Standard as standard can be. Drunken Probe going straight off. You don't actually necessarily have to ban out the Bat Rider, you being first ban. You can try and sneak him through if you want to play it, but perhaps Drunken Probe just doesn't want to play with it and doesn't want to deal with it. That tosses it over to Tupuck Shaker, who's going to be looking at their ban. Keeper of the Light, no big surprise there. I have found that his effectiveness has dropped off a little bit. I think the nerfs were right on the money when it came through. Now, he's not quite that first pick ban phase every single game, but still very effective. And here we see an early ban on him by Tupuck Shaker. This goes back to the Drunken Probe. They're going to be going with the typical Nyx Assassin ban, or they're going to see if they can get it through past Tupuck. If they banned out a throwaway ban here, Meepo for example, that would mean that Tupuck Shaker has to choose between banning out Nyx Assassin or Magnus, for example. If they wanted one of those, they could force it right through. Of course, Tupuck could then respond in kind by banning neither and letting them both through. Some other high-tier heroes still available. His Phantom Lancer being a very popular early ban. They actually do ban Magnus, so Nyx Assassin makes it through the pool. Drunken Probe has the option to pick it up. We'll see if they go with that or something different. Nyx Assassin is the choice for the Probe, so going with, you know, the obvious pick, and for good reason. Nyx Assassin, very effective no matter how you run him. Most commonly is going to be as a 4 or 5 support in the tri-lane, but occasionally you can see him run mid. I'm a fan of that when you have the lineup that can make it work, and with the first pick they have the option to build around that if they so desire. Shadow Demon Lone Druid going to be the choice out of Tupuck. We haven't seen a whole lot of Lone Druid in the Reddit Dota 2 League, but a very strong hero nonetheless. And we'll have to see if he's going to be run in terms of a solo safe lane with an aggressive tri-lane coming out of Tupuck, or in the off lane, soloing against a tri-lane. You're normally going to have that one of those two. Once in a while you see him run as a mid as well. Regardless, he wants that solo lane farm. He does very well in a solo lane, and that's what he wants to do. Early on it's more the experience. Later on he can catch up in terms of the farm. Drunken Probe, though, we'll have to see what they respond with. Lifestealer is still in the pool. I always like that as a choice against Lone Druid, and it also works as a denial pick, preventing Tupuck from choosing the Lifestealer if that's what they wanted to do. Lifestealer also both very effective in an aggressive tri-lane and works well in conjunction with the bear for some infest bombs. I'm just going to be waiting on this. Drunken Probe, 2 picks. They're well into their extra bonus time, so taking a lot of time on these next 2 picks, and for good reason. If there are going to be any choices here, these next 2 are the crucial ones most often, and they do choose Lifestealer, and we'll see if what will that be followed up with. Rubik. So very, very standard picks so far. We'll have to see what Tupuck closes out the first pick phase with. Still very open. Drunken Probe, if the assassin is going to be going as a support, still in need of a mid, so is Tupuck. Leshrac, the common combination with Shadow Demon, either he or Lina is the preferred teammate. A way you can follow up the disruption with a guaranteed stun for good damage, good duration stun. Let the disruption illusions smack on your target quite a bit. Between that and the increased damage that Shadow Demon can cast upon you. That's one dead hero if they catch you out in the early game. Going into the ban phase, Lycan is the first ban out of the Drunken Probe. We have seen Lycan once earlier in this league. Perhaps that's what they're hearkening back to, or just worried about some sort of crazy push strat. We do have Lone Druid and Leshrac, both very strong pushers. Hope Drunken Probe perhaps just looking to prevent stacking up these strong early pushers, as the counter push isn't hugely strong out of the Drunken Probe. Queen of Pain is the ban from Tupuck. Despite possibly needing a mid themselves, going to be taking her out of the pool. Luna from the Drunken Probe, so it does look like they're expecting another carry to be teamed up with the Lone Druid, which, as mentioned, would be very typical of a Lone Druid lineup, as Lone Druid wants that solo lane. So if you're tri-laning without the Lone Druid, normally you're going to have a secondary carry, normally a mid-game centric carry, so Lone Druid can carry it late. Storm Spear, the next ban from Tupuck. With these bans, it potentially suggests, I'd say it suggests either a mid Lone Druid or an unusual mid pick that they don't expect to be banned. Gyrocopter, the last choice from the Drunken Probe, another carry that can be combined up in an aggressive tri-lane. So a very reasonable choice in that, and that is yet another mid hero that is banned. So the choices are narrowing quite a bit. Templar Assassin also is still in the pool as a very prototypical mid hero. Puck as well, still available.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
But we're just going to have to wait and see. Final ban. Looks like he's going to be going into bonus time. Reserve time for Tupuck. Going to be used on this final ban. They've still got quite a bit left. This is the first time they've dipped into it. They've been going for mid bans so far. Are they going to continue that trend, perhaps not taking this amount of time? No, they do go with another mid. That is Tinker Puck, quickly chosen by the Drunken Probe, the one mid that makes it through. Tupuck, how are they going to retaliate? I have to imagine they're not going to be choosing Templar Assassin as mentioned, because it was... Don't make me look dumb. But that was a very possible ban. But with that, we're just going to be looking for an additional tri-lane carry for Tupuck to team up with Shadow Demon and Leshrac. Juggernaut still in the pool. Very common choice to combine with the Lone Druid. So that does create 3 core heroes with Templar Assassin and Lone Druid.
5 seconds.
The Drunken Probe going to have their first shot to close out their lineup. Going into reserve time. Again, not much left on it, as used up quite a bit earlier in this game. We have seen the Drunken Probe run Warlock quite a bit, but with Puck and their... Oh, Death Prophet. With that, we're likely to see an aggressive tri-lane then with Nyx Assassin and Rubik. That can be rather difficult. And there's the Juggernaut as mentioned. Not that they have a bad aggressive tri-lane by any means, but Shadow Demon is always a very difficult one to attack into. Leshrac, not as much, but also can be quite difficult to attack into. Death Prophet and Puck both going to be wanting to be in 1v1 lanes, though Puck can potentially do the off-lane job if so required. Just waiting for the final choices, and there we are. Unfortunately, we don't have free camera. There we go. So, we'll start off in the bottom left, the Radiant side. Playing on the Lifestealer, we have Sergeant Conman. The Rubik will be played by Bucaramanga Milonga. I'm gonna have to be checking in on the Rubik just so I can say his name again. The Death Prophet, actually headed towards the safe lane, is Kodiak. Joining the Rubik in the top lane, tri-lane, we've got Doyle points on the Nyx Assassin. And then in mid, it's Coffee on the Puck. On the dire side for Tupuck Shaker, we've got Shadow Demon being played by Slain Valkyria. The Juggernaut is on Return the Slab. He's played that before in this league. Johnny Kaz is on the Leshrac. Very likely head towards mid based on that build, and it being Templar Assassin and being completely obvious, is Vash the Stampede. Then finally, the Lone Druid will be played by 2. That's how I choose to pronounce it. If you spell it like that, that's what you get. Puck going to be camping the rune.
Illusion.
Yeah, nice little head start there, but without the block, that's going to cost him just a little bit. And we have to keep a close eye here on this top lane, aggressive tri-lane versus defensive, tri-lane versus tri-lane situation. Death Prophet hiding in the trees, not quite sure where the opponent is. The bear pulling through. Normally you're going to be doing this against aggressive tri-lane, not really necessary in a 1v1 situation. Some weird movement here by the sports in the early game, leaving Juggernaut in a slightly awkward position for a brief period, but they're rotating back around, and we'll be on with the aggression. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for the most part. Peek in otherwise, though. A little harass going out on the Templar Assassin. Went Refraction first. And copying a lot of damage between just the straight auto attacks and a bit extra with those illusions there. We've got a sentry ward down on the low ground from the Radiant, but no high ground vision. So can't really de-ward right now, because they got de-warded first. And here comes the rotation. We've got a little de-ward war going on. Going for the sentry first, and now going for the observer. No rotation as of yet. Here's the Leshrac coming in to help. We've got 2v2 now going to be going after the sentry. The lift up. Disruption go follow up with the split earth. There it is. Rubik in a lot of trouble. Nick's not able to be there. Bails out for a second. There's a stun. Gets both. The Rubik turns around. That was a bad idea. First blood goes to Tupuck. Go try and turn this around. They'll get a return kill. The Lifestealer. Whack it away on the Shrak, but he's not going to be able to catch up. There's the Blade Fury. Going to be doing a lot of damage. Doesn't look like he'll be able to get another kill, though. Doesn't pick up the rune for some reason. Now the Nyx Assassin. Caught again. No split earth, though. And with the rotation from the Templar Assassin, that's 2 for none.
But it hides from the
Including the first blood, and Tupuck Shaker takes an early lead with that. Very tricky positional war there. Won by Tupuck's supports. A little bit of indecision, starting with the sentry, switching to the obs, and then getting neither. The Drunken Probe going to look to try and turn around. A brief pause. So we'll take a look at where everyone is. One thing that the Drunken Probe can say in this early game, though, is in terms of last hits, the Lifestealer has been doing much better than the Juggernaut in this aggressive tri-lane. But in terms of gold, of course, that first blood. Very nice early start. Templar Assassin, straight up, typical bottle rush. A kill under her belt. Kicks her off very nicely. After taking a lot of harass early on by that Puck. Bottom lane, we have Death Prophet up against this Lone Druid. He is pushed back towards the Death Prophet. So a bit nicer in terms of positioning there for her, but it's headed back up in the opposite direction. The Druid getting a bit of a lead so far in that lane. And just a lot of positioning back and forth. You have the Sentry D-Ward. Sorry about that. Sentry D-Ward over by the pull camp. A single pull, though. So this is going to push the lane up. Which is unfortunate. But if they're looking to push it down, that could help out. You have a double wave coming up. Now we do have some movement headed down towards bottom. The lane push back though, so make it a bit difficult and just turns around. Gets the haste rune. Not going to be making any sort of action there. Not the best timing with that pulled back. Full health on the druid anyway. Checking back in up top. Still Lifestealer on top, but Juggernaut gaining ground. On the courier, we're seeing wards and boots coming out. Boots are for the puck, though, out in mid. Gonna want to send that over. Hopefully that's not a bit of miscommunication. That can cost, especially in mid. Think you're going to have the mobility and get caught out. Puck, though, very crafty. Tough to lock down. Another pause, another disconnect. So we can take a look at where everybody is going. Orb of Venom early on the bear. Very nice in terms of those 1v1 situations. Not a whole lot of interest on the Death Prophet. Getting out farmed quite a bit here on the bottom lane. Puck. Straight bottle rush. Haven't seen any sort of adjustment past there. Has the boots on the courier as mentioned. Templar Assassin saving up quite a bit. Maybe going straight for Blink, though a bit more typical to get the phase boots first. Has enough to complete that if she so desires. And if you're looking for the no Blink build, actually treads are gaining a bit in popularity. Combine that up with drums and Ayasha, and you can just go, go, go. You have the slow in terms of your ult, so you do have chasing power even without Blink. Meld strikes perhaps a bit more difficult to land though, especially before you have your side blades maxed. And now we have two here bottom. Supports have rotated. Now this could create a bad situation on both ends. We have the Lifestealer being enclosed on. Disruption is available in just a second. At the same time, we have to keep an eye on the Death Prophet. Death Prophet will get away, but the Lifestealer will not. And it's now 3-0 in favor of Tupuck, but now the supports commit. Are they going to be able to bring him down? Going to be rotating toward mid. That's the longer path, and with the slow speed of that ult form on the druid, simple brown boots may not work, but the fortunate route there. Bear's out of range, though. Ult by Puck. But an Invis rune saves the day. And Lone Druid gets out of there just barely. Nikas, thank that rune. And that's why, kids, you always control the runes. Headed back to heal up. Even with the ult cast by Puck, Invis lets him get away. Continuing to push in past the tier 1. Gonna put some pressure on tier 2. Bit of rotation coming out. TPs as well. Could have an engagement at any moment. Likely going to wait on the Puck. There's a lift up. And instead Tupuck being the aggressor, but nothing to come of it. But now the Lifestealer going balls to the wall. Goes straight after. Went straight at the Shadow Demon, but The edict too much. Just forces them back just with that alone, pretty much. Lifestealer was going in there alone for quite a bit of that. Not the best reaction out of the supports. Perhaps some miscommunication. Likely intending to coordinate. But no harm, no foul. Have to go heal, but neither side with any losses. And both sides back up. In mid, though, the Templar Assassin has had the run of the lane ever since that early kill. And she'll be picking up a haste rune. Did go for the phase boots. Now 1,000 towards the blink dagger if that's the route she chooses to go. Blink also the likely choice out of the puck. Got a rotation around from the Shadow Demon. Just going to be getting up a ward. See if he tries to make anything happen in mid. Looks like he's just going to head back through the jungle. Towards the bottom lane. Death Prophet just not having a whole lot of luck in this lane, being outlast hit 31-16 by the Lone Druid. Without the rune control given to her by playing in mid, doesn't quite have the same kind of mana to spam out that Crypt Swarm and do damage and get clear creep waves like that, even if there's a hard time. We've got 3 down here toward bottom, but with the lane pushed up, gonna have to wait just a little bit before they're able to potentially capitalize on that. The Lifestealer has relegated himself to the jungle. Going to be trying to get something done there instead. And a relatively slow early game out of the side of the Drunken Probe in terms of the heroes that they want to get the early farm on. 24 last hits on the Lifestealer, 24 on the Puck, 20 on the Death Prophet. Compare that to Vash on that. Oh, hang on. The Templar Assassin gets her sort of Puck dragon, mini dragon boyish thing in Puck. Now double damage. How nice. Lifestealer. It's right near that Lone Druid, and then not far away from him was a hasted Templar Assassin with a double damage in her bottle. But instead, we're going to have a push on the mid tower. Top tower already been down for quite a bit. A TP in. The ult from Puck. Well done, but no follow-up. Rubik now lands in. A lift up. No follow-up there either. Spike Carapace is going to get the Nyx Assassin out of trouble. The tower goes down, though. Lifestealer rotates in. Gets the Shrek. Templar Assassin going to have to back up. Death Prophet has to be a little careful, though. That's still double damage. Meld hit with double damage. Do a lot. But with the heal, she'll be just fine. No further engagement. And the Drunken Probe gets back on the board. Well, not back on the board. Finally gets on the board. 4-1. Not a big score so far, but that's the first for their side. Lifestealer going to be getting that one. And the hero that they want getting those kills. There's the completed phase boost. Well, would have definitely liked that earlier. But that will allow him to actually have some aggressive potential. Rotation toward the Puck in mid. Well, Leshrac opting to turn around. Head back towards bottom. Perhaps a push coming out towards this bottom, final tier 1 on the side of the Drunken Probe. And we see the net worths. That tells the story. Top 3 on the side of Tupuck Shaker. Leading the way is the Templar Assassin. Blink Dagger is done. That's a regeneration rune in her bottle. Not the most useful for a Templar Assassin, but never a bad thing to have on hand. Looks like we may have some action bottom in the Radiant Jungle. Trap set. But no prey. And TA turning around. They're not forcing the issue, being a little passive here. And they're all backing up on the Dire side. Meanwhile, not a whole lot going on up here on top. Juggernaut just getting more free farm. His item choice is on the courier, and that's drums. Along with another 700 in the bank. But looks like down bottom, we are going to have a fight. There's the ult out of Death Prophet, perhaps premature. Gets Tupuck to back up. Follow-up stun. Mana burn, not enough to bring down the Druid. Oh, I missed the TA getting a kill. Coming in from behind. That was on the Nyx Assassin, but she'll pay for it if they had any AoE right there. And there it is from the Death Prophet going to finish her off. Now Edict doing some damage. Very low on the Leshrac, 30 HP. Lifestealer goes past, going to go on the Druid. Soul Catcher, though, a lot of bonus damage, and the Entangle, and Lifestealer goes down. And now Rubik in trouble. And the Shadow Demon does not even get taken out. 30 on the Leshrac. We had around 100 on both the Shadow Demon and the Lone Druid, neither being taken out. 7-2 now. The Drunken Probe did start that off relatively well. The trade, they did lose the Nyx Assassin, but getting the highest net worth hero on the board, Templar Assassin in return, not a problem for them. Plenty glad to take that, but after that, not able to make anything happen because of it. Some near escapes. There's a double damage activated on Templar Assassin. Looks like she has a target. They're going to be turning around. Not diving past that tier 2. Rubik, though. Be careful where he ends up moving. Does not look like he's going to be moving in range, and nothing is going to come of that. Down on bottom. The ult spent on the Lone Druid. TP support coming in as well. And this should be the death of the Lone Druid. There it is. A little too far in. Gets caught by the Puck ult. Nowhere to go. TP in with Nyx. Helps secure that kill. Good kill there. Blink Dagger is now done for Puck. Invis on the Templar Assassin. She's been controlling runes all game. And here's the rotation. No vision out of the Drunken Probe, and that could cost them, but ult, Crypt Swarm does a lot of damage. But now Demonic Purge along with the Blade Fury, and that's it for Death Prophet. Lifestealer is there, goes on the Shadow Demon. Will he be able to get him this time? The Disruption is there. Shadow Demon's still alive, going to be trying to go for that, but no follow-up. Shadow Demon gonna get away again after the Infest. Now the turnaround. Templar Assassin's back. Knife Stealer goes down. Shadow Demon will not say die. And now this is going to be turning into a push on the tier 1. Everybody here. And there's a pause from Shadow Demon. So Leshrac apparently disconnecting. No indication of it, but hey, There's the go sign. And we're back in the action looking for a follow-up here. Blade Fury. That's a dead Nyx. Dead tier 1, 11-3. Now it's really starting to snowball, as we've seen for quite a while. These top three have been on the side of Tupuck, and now the Death Prophet down below the supports of Tupuck. And it becomes that much harder to turn this around, especially when this happens. Going in for Roshan. No indication of this. Out of the Drunken Probe, no vision around this area, been dewarded. And this is going to be going down very quickly. Meld, Bear. That's Roche. And that'll be mech done on the Shadow Demon. There it is. And now we have to look at how the Drunken Probe can turn this around. They do have the potential for some very strong team fight. Crypt Swarm, very strong nuke along with her ult. Puck with Dream Coil, a stun over top of everyone, infest damage on top of the straight right click out of the Life Stealer. It made very, very difficult based on the level differential and farm differential on both sides. XP in excess of 10,000 the way of Tupuck. Gold in the same manner. Omni Slash straight on Rubik. Tries to TP out for a split second there. That did not work. Nyx backing out. Shrek with a point booster. Looks like he's going Aghanim Scepter. I'd be curious of the thought pattern on that. Actually, I guess he could be going Bloodstone. That's probably the more... if I have the recipe correct. Death Prophet caught out. Double kill on the Juggernaut. And that's just the call of GG right there. 15-3. As we saw, in excess of 10,000. Closing in on past 12. We're going to be heading into a game 2. Tupuck ahead 1-0 in this best of 3. This is round 1 of the Reddit Dota 2 League. We'll just hang out and take a look at the final score in just a moment. As we have the disconnects out, this will be a matter of a few seconds. This was not a game that came down to any big fight. It was a slow, steady progression over time. Helped along by that initial first blood. And just kept going that direction. It also wasn't the immediate crushing of any lane. Just slowly kills picked up, and that's it. So we'll be heading into game 2.